In Gaza, Israel says it's killed a top Hamas commander, said to be one of the last living architects of the October 7th attacks. Gaza health authorities said the strike killed 4 people and wounded at least 25 others. More than 2 months after the ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas, humanitarian conditions in Gaza remain dire. The UN estimates that 1.5 million people lack shelter. Ali Rogan spoke with Jonathan Cricks of UNICEF from southern Gaza.
Jonathan, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us about what the conditions are like on the ground right now.
The conditions are catastrophic, I must say. I've been in many tents in the past 2 days, and the tents are completely flooded. I met with tens of children. Their clothes are wet. The mattresses in the tents are completely soaked, and those children, they are cold. They are a huge issue when it comes to hygiene, because of course with those heavy rains, it's bringing a lot of dirty water, sewage water. You have big pile of rubbish which are being taken away by the rains, and we are very concerned, first of all, to see children getting sick, and I met many sick children, and also children dying from hypothermia. So it's extremely concerning. It's really showing the scale of the vulnerability and the needs of these children.
And in terms of the aid situation, the terms of the ceasefire agreement with Israel included a provision that 600 aid trucks would enter Gaza every day. We understand that that number is far short of that, but what is the situation there in terms of aid getting into the area?
The situation is a bit complex. It's not black or white. First of all, since the ceasefire, UN agencies like UNICEF have been able to bring more aid inside the Gaza Strip. That's a fact. We have been able to distribute 250,000 of warm clothes to children. We have been able to distribute 600,000 blankets, 260,000 tarps, 7,000 tents. So we are able to do, I would say, a lot, but we need 1 million kits of warm clothes for children. We have 1 million children here in the Gaza Strip. And of course, we have brought 1/4 of that. So the scale of the need, the immensity of the destruction, when you see that you have nearly 1 million people living in makeshift tents which are made with these kind of tarpaulins, just a plastic sheet on a piece of wood. So, of course, this is not made to withstand a storm like the one that we have seen in the past days.
What is UNICEF calling for right now in terms of scaling up that aid?
So we need to have more tents going in. We need to have more of all supplies. It's also important that we have all the entry points possible and all the routes possible to bring humanitarian aid inside the Gaza Strip. We also need things like caterpillars, big machinery, heavy machines to remove the big piles of rubbles, also of garbage and these kind of things, because we have a huge issue when it comes to hygiene and sanitation here.
We are now about 2 months into this ceasefire. What would you say in terms of Palestinians' quality of life? And is it at the level that you thought it might be at this point?
So the markets, you can see way more food on the markets, but many type of food are still very expensive. So the most vulnerable families are still struggling to get access to it. We are still treating thousands of children for malnutrition. It's the situation is improving. But yesterday I was on one of those internally displaced people camp, very much makeshift tents. And I met with a little girl. She's 3 years old. Her name is Bisan, and she was very cute. But at the same time, she was extremely cold, and her sweatpants were extremely dirty and wet. And she was just like there playing and standing in the mud. and when you enter her tent, there is literally nothing, and then you have that tent where water is falling from all of it. And this is just heartbreaking. This little girl, she should just have a proper shelter. She should be able to go to a kindergarten, play with toys, and not be in a situation like she is today. So the overall situation remains extremely dramatic. The ceasefire is precious. It's very important because it brought a little respite, but the living conditions remain extremely, extremely challenging for children.
Jonathan Creeks with UNICEF, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Still to come on PBS News Weekend, the effect tariffs on China are having on prices for shoppers this holiday season, and the world-famous couple who've devoted their lives to protecting Africa's wildlife.
This is PBS News Weekend from the David M. Rubenstein studio at WETA in Washington, home of the PBS NewsHour, weeknights on PBS.